Live from... Oh, wait. This episode really is live. Well, then, it's the Smokin' Hot Toddcast Live. And now, here's your host, Hot Toddy.
All right, we're live. Hello, and welcome to the special live episode of the Smokin' Hot Toddcast. I'm Hot Toddy, and today I'm sitting here with a friend of mine. She's incredible. I've been following her for months now, and it's every step she takes, every move she makes. I'm not going to sing, but she is amazing at everything she does. It's Rosemary Machario. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much for having me back.
Well, thank you for coming. We did speak to her back during the 5th season of the regular podcast, and we kind of just talked about everything, of course, that was going on in your world. And then, of course, come to find out, you had a book coming out. And that book is rapidly approaching to being out for people to buy. It's on pre-order right now on Amazon. It's the Amulet of Elements. It looks like it's going to be an incredible story, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But first, let's catch up. What have you all been, other than the book? I know you've been prepping for that hardcore.
Yes,
what all have you been? Since March.
Yes.
My goodness. Well, have you had any downtime? What else have you done outside of preparing for that?
Well, I got to work a little bit on the 7-day shootout last weekend. So everybody has to have their stuff turned in tonight, I think.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And then, of course, next month for the Knoxville Film Festival, that will be
That's right.
game on for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be a lot, yeah.
I've done a couple of cons. I've just gone to a couple of cons. Let's see. I think I had one acting thing that I did just because, hey, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah, I can do this.
I got some time.
Yeah,
I can do it.
I got 5 minutes.
Right.
Let's roll.
Let's get this rolling. Let's get it going. It's just been a crazy summer. I know you've been prepping a lot for this, and I was nervous, especially after yesterday, because she was on television yesterday. So she was in front of this great set on Channel 6 WATE and all these professional cameras. Tonight she sits in front of a phone camera and a mini microphone that's just off screen here. You can't see it. So I have to admit, this is the setup here is not as ideal as I would like it to be, but
it's a little bit more comfortable.
It's a little bit more comfortable. I could say that for sure. It's a lot more. I will say it's more than the last time you were here. All I had was my computer and a microphone because it was a regular podcast, but now it's a camera. So I'm excited about that. But so tell, because my fans are a little bit different from the regular podcast and here on Facebook. So tell everybody why you wanted to write this book.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I started almost 9 years ago.
Wow.
A long time. And I had a dream about it. And so I always write down my dreams usually. If I can remember, especially if it's very elaborate like that, and it's there and I retain the information, I write it down.
Sure.
So I started writing it down in my notebook, and I got it all out, just kind of like the general thing of it. And then I kept adding to it. And I'm like, this might be a neat little book, maybe, I'll have it, for my kids or whatever.
Right.
And my youngest child was 5 months old at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so I ended up just toting her around and with my notebook, and I got it all written down and typed it up. But the more I read over it, I thought, maybe this should be for me. Something that everything I loved as a kid, as far as like, fantasy literature, fantasy movies. Right. And then anything that I really enjoyed as an adult, like Game of Thrones, stuff like that. And so I kind of combined it. But the more it developed, the more it just deepened. And they started out as a series of novellas, but I wasn't able to find an agent that represented novellas. So someone had suggested combining them. And I had already gone up to writing 5 novellas. So 5 novellas were split pretty easily into 2 novels. And I added things where it needed to be added. But of course I couldn't try to do anything with it until book 1 was published. So I kept trying, and there would be so many different agents, so many different little small publishing houses that you didn't need an agent representation for. And I would just constantly change things and do whatever like someone happened to suggest, and something I was missing, and I would go back to the drawing board and constantly just tweak it and obsess with it, and then I'd send it back out, and I would send out at least 50 at a time, just to have a roundabout number.
Right.
I'd make a list of the different agents and go in and specifically check out each one that represented the fantasy genre,
right,
and all the different fantasy genres, just because I wasn't sure where mine fell at. I knew where I wanted it to fall at, because it's got a little bit of everything. I mean, there's a little bit of romance, there's a little high fantasy. I mean, it ended up being just high fantasy, but I mean, there's a little bit of romance in it, and there's a little bit of some darker themes to it as well. But in the end, I finally I wanted to quit. I mean, there was just so many rejections, and I had already hit like over 100.
Wow.
And at this point, and I think it was sometime in early 2018, I think spring of 2018, that I went through the last final. I can't do anything else to it. I would look it up online, I would look in English books, anything, just trying to figure out, okay, what I was doing wrong.
Right.
And it came out clean. I had, my daughter-in-law look over it, and, she's an English major, and she's like, there's just these few things, and I fixed them, and it's just what I did.
Right.
But, she said it was great. And
Yeah.
she didn't want me to quit. She didn't want me to give up. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try one more round, and I put another round out there, and the ones that did respond were all rejections. Some were positive feedback. Some asked for partials or fulls, and like, well, this still isn't right for me. And I'm like, okay, I've got to take a break. I just had to.
Right.
I just put it away. And then one of my guests that I had on Dream Big for season 4 happened to be published with 7 Star Press, and it was a indie publisher in Lexington, Kentucky.
Right.
And they do all kinds of different fantasy and stuff. And he's like, you should give them a shot. I'm like, well, I did. I saw them, and they were close to queries. Well, no, I'll help put in for you. So he got me an in, and which was fantastic. And there was another couple friends of mine who were friends with publishers, and they got me an in, even though they were close to queries. But one of them I never heard back from, and then there was a couple other ones that said no. Then there were a few of the tour books and stuff like that you didn't have to have representation, and I had submitted to them, and they're like, no, not quite, So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I submitted. They said that they'd look at my stuff. 7 Star Press did.
Right.
And so I ended up submitting to them, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait now.
Yeah. The waiting game.
Yeah. So I was just waiting, and then I was invited to Imaginarium last fall, and I mean, it's great. It's a wonderful, wonderful book film festival con in Louisville, Kentucky. That 7 Star Press, that's their baby.
That's their thing.
Yes, and it's wonderful. If you guys haven't been there, the 11th through the 13th of October, got to go. Okay. There are actually a few filmmakers from here that have put in for their film festival.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that they come home winners.
Yeah, for real.
Yes, which will be super neat.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a blast, and I can't wait. It's going to be the best epic 3-day weekend.
Right. That's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it.
Right.
It's different than a regular Comic-Con.
Right.
It's so many creatives into one area.
Right.
Where it's like everybody's a creative that's there, and the energy is incredible.
Right. Right.
It really is.
Yeah, I've never been to a film festival. It's something I've always wanted, just to be among filmmakers. Like I've never had that experience before. So I have a friend who's been doing, actually just wrapped up a movie here recently. Her name's Andy Morrow. Actually, she was on my show back in May, and we grew up together. And so she just did a film, and it's about to come out, and I'm really looking forward to it. But it's interesting to be in that atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Because I'd never really experienced that until here recently. And so to be in that atmosphere, that's got to be a lot of fun.
It is. I mean, it's between authors and screenplay writers and filmmakers. It's incredible.
Right.
And just like as soon as you just get in there, it's just like everybody's all over the place with just energy and just there's so many books and things that you're like, oh, I want that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just wonderful, and I couldn't be more happy being part of the 7 Star Press family.
Sure.
And so whenever they told me in March that, hey, yeah, we're going to sign you for 6 books, and I'm like, huh?
6 books. Wow.
Yeah, so the series is going to be called The Magic of the Chosen Ones. Mm-hmm. And so far we're starting out with 6. I had 6 planned right off the top of my head. And so we'll see if there's any more after that.
That's right.
If there's requests.
Yeah.
Like, if there's requests, then I might,
You might do it, right. So now, because this is your first book, so now is essentially like the whole story written and you need to put it into book form at this point, or because you said you have 6 and if they want more you'll get more, does that mean you have to write more after that, or do you already have like George Lucas had this whole storyline planned out?
Well, I have the storyline planned out.
Okay.
For the 6. I have 3 written. I have 1. I have the 4th one. The premise and stuff is forming. Nice. It's forming.
It's getting there.
Yes. And so I'm a lot more prepared than I was with the first book.
Sure.
Way more prepared. And technically it was like the first and second book, because the first and second book was compiled of 5 novellas.
Right.
And I had planned that my 6th one was going to be the finale. But then once I got into and was doing book 3, I'm like, I had an idea. Yeah. And this epiphany was like, just, wow. Yeah. And okay, there's gonna be 3 more.
I love that. It truly is like Star Wars. Like, okay, we thought the story was going to end, but no, we got plenty more stories.
Yes, there was so much more.
That's
so
right.
much more. But the first one, I still have the original in my notebook. Okay. And all of my notes for my research. Right. Because it's a historic based Viking saga, but I twisted it a little bit. So in with this Norse saga, I have it's the beginning of the Viking Age, the very beginning of the Viking Age. So it's pagan based, and I have all my characters have their own purpose. Right. Everybody kind of comes together and helps the princess on her way. And she has to go through going from not knowing really who she is, and she only knows of just a little bit information about herself, but she ends up kidnapped, and she ends up rescuing herself, basically. Kudos to her.
I like that, yeah.
And
a little modern day take on this.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes. And so, but she ends up getting into trouble again. And during this time, she's starting to slowly develop and find herself. And as she's going through these trials and errors, she's at this point where she's like, okay, I think I got this. And something else really major happens. And she's kidnapped again.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
She's kind of like Princess Peach in the Mario world. She's always getting kidnapped.
Yeah, so she's
but she don't need Mario. This princess don't need her.
She ended up getting in this pickle herself. So, but once she ended up finding her way out of this mess, she met some very important individuals that tell her all about herself. And she's so distraught because her family did not tell her. And so she's got a lot of heaviness to start dealing with now. And finding out what her destiny is.
Right.
And she's going to make this choice of doing it. Or really, basically, she's trying to decide whether it's, okay, do I do what I'm destined to do? Or do I stay with this guy that I've fallen in love with? And this is my first love.
Right.
And so...
Interesting.
She's got to make some hardcore decisions.
Somebody asked me the other day to describe like what your book was about, and I said it's sort of a combination of Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. It's sort of like that like you said, that Norse era, like medieval time, but also it's like dealing with finding out who you are and becoming that person. I said it's
and
learning everything about it. Yeah.
It's like if Disney remade like the Lord of the Rings, Hobbits, and the Harry Potter. If Disney redid all those, and then that had a baby with Game of Thrones,
right? It's all full circle.
Yes.
And you mentioned reboots. I'm sure Disney's already on those. Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Once they get done with Home Alone and screwing up Spider-Man, they'll do that.
Didn't. I don't think they were. It was their issue with the whole Spider-Man
No,
thing.
it was Sony. That was their fault. I'm calling you out, Sony. I don't care. You don't sponsor the show. I don't care. Sony screwed it up. Then they got with Disney.
Just hope Disney just buy Sony and then saves face and then
as much as it scares me that Disney might buy another company, I think it needs to happen to save Spider-Man. That's about all. Because it's just sad, that whole situation. I don't even want to talk about it because it just makes me sad. Don't even go there. Oh my goodness.
I always thought that, my Princess Illyria Rose could be the next Disney princess.
Yeah.
But she could be like, she wouldn't be a cartoon. She could be the first real live action original princess. And she's different because she saves herself.
Right.
And she finds out who she is. And she's having to grow up, whereas she spent the first 16 years of her life sheltered.
Right.
So by the time she finally gets to be out there and, her parents throw her this magnificent ball for her 16th birthday, she has all of this for her that's like, wow, I'm out in the world, and what do I do now?
Right, exactly.
And then what? I'm this chosen one?
Right.
Okay, so that I gotta save the world from this evil shape-shifting wizard who's hell-bent on taking over the realm of Ragnarok and overthrowing Valhalla. I mean, hey!
That's a lot for a teenager to deal with.
Yes.
I'm just saying, that's a lot for someone to deal with. Oh my goodness. And I don't know if talking about wizardry and all that is bringing the rain.
Now it's storming.
It's storming now. I don't know what to think of this. But no, this story sounds incredible, and it's called the Amulet of Elements, and it's on pre-order now on Amazon, correct?
Yes.
And
it's digital download.
For digital download, and it'll be released through Amazon on August 27th, correct?
And other platforms.
And other platforms. Where else is it going to be?
I know iTunes, and then anywhere else that books are sold to download. There's digitally or print.
Oh, you're right.
And then if anybody has any questions, just go to the 7star Press.
7star Press.
And the website, and then you'll be able to find me, and then all the many ways that you can download it. Plus, I'll take all of those links.
Yeah.
And I will put it on my author page on the website, and then on the author page on Facebook, which is just a fledgling little Facebook page. So guys, please give it a like.
Give it a like. Follow her.
I've sent everybody an invite.
That's right.
I mean, almost 5,000 people.
Wow.
It took me a week or two to get all those invites sent, because Facebook won't let you do it all at one time. You have to individually tap them, and that's such a battery drain on the phone.
I gave up after a while on the Hot Toddy page. I was just like, it's there, follow it if you want. I don't care at this point.
And it's funny, like I would watch a couple people fall off just my regular rows.
Sure.
The public profile. I'm like, oh, they're moving from that one to that one.
We're getting there. It's happening.
So I'm so close to 1,000. I'm like a little over 800.
That's awesome.
Right now for the other page.
Right.
So if we can get to 1,000, that would be fantastic.
Get to it. The link is out there. Go find it.
Yes, and I'm always sharing every day.
That's right.
So I'm really excited about this.
This is huge.
Sometimes I have to pinch myself in a way because it's been almost 9 years. Like January of 2020 will be 9 years that I wrote the book.
Wow.
Or started writing
right.
it. And then I would say I had, the entire thing of like combining the novellas and all of that stuff. Maybe like 6 to 8 months, I think it might have been, whenever I finally just combined them, because I kept writing.
Right.
Like I kept writing and writing and writing, and I got all the way up to novella 5, and I'm like,
yeah.
Let's just make this, 2 books.
Yeah, compact, concise thing.
And it was a lot of juggling.
Yeah.
I had so many things that I had to juggle around. And then there were some things that I was able to roll over into book 3. Because I don't really have a prologue.
No.
In book 1. There's not really a prologue.
Right.
It has that opening line.
Goes right in.
And, it sits on the page just so pretty.
Right.
I've gotten to see the PDF file of the book, and oh my gosh, it was just like the most wondrous thing ever to open up this PDF file, and I'm proofing, it's to proof the book and stuff before it's like ready, and I'm like, I felt like I was looking at like glowing gold, or rainbow, or just, it was just so beautiful, and after this, so many years of, rejection and like, I'm over 100. I know there's over 100 because just in the first year, I had like 100 rejections.
Oh
so I've
gosh.
got to have at least 100 a year, maybe, that I could submit. So I'm way out there with that.
Right.
And I thought,
what is it about publishing? What are they looking for? Why
agents,
is it like that?
A lot of agents, I guess whatever's popular at the moment.
Right.
Forever it was based on sparkly vampires. And everybody
wasn't it though?
It was vampire this, vampire that.
Yeah.
And then I think the whole thing of, werewolves kind of threw in, and then of course you had the bondage, the 50 Shades stuff that hit, and so everybody was into bondage, and so I think it's just whatever is like just kind of popular at the time, and it's got to sound like super mainstream or something that they could turn into mainstream to pitch to the big 5, houses. But I wanted something more personal. I didn't want my baby stripped of everything just to make it socially acceptable. I'm like, I couldn't put the story down. Like, I'd walked away several times. I'd even gone a year without touching it, without looking at it, without it just sat in my hard drive.
Wow.
And it was pretty close to a year that I just I wanted to just quit. So I really put in getting into the acting, and it just was just so focused on that, and I didn't do anything with the book whatsoever. And then whenever I did, I read over it, fixed some things that just kind of hit me, and would send it off again. And, and I would always send at least 50 at a time. I think it's a nice round,
That's
even
a good number.
And it would be, I would have my list of go through my agents and small pub houses, and I would make my list, agents here, small pub houses here, that was in that fantasy line of whether it's no matter what it was.
Right.
You know, the realm of all the bazillion different genres and subgenres of fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There are some
Oh,
that
no,
I've
I'm
never
not surprised. Yeah.
heard of.
Oh, yeah. The
It's
barrel,
crazy.
there's never an end. It's just a sinkhole.
Yes. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll just throw it out there and pitch it.
Right.
And I tried so many different ways of pitching it because I'd get so many different feedbacks and like, oh, well, she's 16, it's a young adult, so we can't pitch this as an adult. Or, you know, I'd have it as an adult and we can't pitch it as an adult. Or I'd have it then as a young adult. We can't pitch it as a young adult. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, please, what do we need?
Yeah,
here?
what do you want?
Give me something. And then it was
Right.
like, well, I really love that emotion that you're really putting in. You know, you have so much emotion and drive in your characters, but there's not enough about the world. I want to know more about your world. It's not about the world.
It's not about
The
it.
world
yeah.
is there. They
Mhm.
live in this world,
Right.
but it doesn't rule them.
No.
It doesn't do stuff to the characters. You know, the world is not alive.
Yeah.
It's there. It's like background.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just a place. This is just
Yes.
this is where it takes
yes,
place.
like
yeah.
we're in Tennessee,
Right,
And
so
we're in Knoxville.
we're in Knoxville.
But Knoxville or Tennessee doesn't do things to us.
We're not talking about this state
No,
through this whole
no,
show. It's
no.
just not happening. Yeah.
It's just us.
It's just us. We're just here. That's
it's
it.
not even the building.
No, we don't even. You don't even know what building we're in right now. I'll give you a hint. It's radio stations. That's about all I'm going to tell you. That's about all I'm going to tell you. You go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't do anything to
No,
us. So
it doesn't do anything.
So for me to, you know, have all this kind of feedback and everything that's going on,
Right.
It's kind of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
being that, you know, and it's wonderful that I've read many of fantasy novels that the world is everything.
Yeah.
And then there's multiple different languages, and that's awesome. And it's like, no, everyone's gonna speak, you know, it's gonna be
one
English
thing.
translated.
Right, yeah. It's
I'm
just gonna be one
translating all this
thing
in
and we'll
English
go.
for you.
Yeah.
It'll be easy. Everybody can read it.
That's right. Go down one road,
Yes,
and we're gonna keep it there. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so it's coming out the day before my birthday.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yes, and it's so exciting. It's like, wow, what a present.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't think of anything better.
Decades worth of hard work right on your birthday. That's incredible.
And for it to come out and be developing the way it has, and
Right.
and it takes a village. Oh my gosh,
Oh, I can
it
imagine.
takes such
Yeah.
a village to
Yeah.
publish a book,
Mhm.
and I've been so fortunate and so lucky that, you know, my publisher's so awesome,
Right.
and my editor is wonderful. I
Mhm.
love my editor,
Yeah.
and for her to get me,
Yeah.
and understand my words,
Right.
and my voice
Mhm.
is just an amazing thing.
It's a good feeling.
Yes. And so there wasn't any of this.
No.
It was all just
Yeah. There it is.
Yes.
Let's do this. There
Yes.
you go. Yeah.
And there's so many things I learned.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, if only I had known.
Right. Where was this a few years ago?
Yes. That would have been great.
Yeah. Like.
But I think everything happens for a reason.
That's
and,
true.
And the fates just kind of, one step led to another. It was like dream big, guess. Oh, well, here's my awesome publisher.
Right.
And they said yes. And then, okay, so we're going to do this. And,
Right.
you know, almost 9 years of planning, imagining in my mind how all of this was going to happen.
Mhm.
It was just kind of unfolding.
Right, right.
And so, like, I was thinking, oh, well, I'm going to do research. So I did all kinds of different research on, you know, how to promote a book, you know, book release parties, and whether they're traditional, non-traditional, how to promote your book, what kind of audience are you going to promote
Right.
to? I mean, there's so many different things.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, one thing at a time. So
Yeah.
I started making lists because I'm a Virgo.
That's fine.
That's what we do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's.
And
mhm.
so one list at a time, and one list led to another list, and so I'm like, oh, brilliant. So
Yeah.
I've got this thing I need to do, and I made a list for all the things for that.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, book release party. Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's go non-traditional.
Yeah.
Because this book is about, you know, a princess,
Mhm.
and she's, you know, from, you know, a whole full king, queen thing, and they throw her an elaborate ball. Well, what do the royals do back then for entertainment? Well, they had people perform for them.
Right.
there were minstrels, there were jugglers, there were magicians, there were burlesque, well, now we call them burlesque dancers, but they were, exotic dancers or whatever that they called them back then. Mm-hmm. And a belly dance, was very popular back then in several different cultures. And so all of these things, I'm like, we have that now.
Yeah.
We
still have.
So I'm like, I went to all my Dream Big family, and I'm like, hey guys, I got a book that's coming out.
Yeah.
And I would really, really love it if we threw a party.
Yeah.
And who would like to be part of the party? Who would like to join me into spreading this inspiration?
Yeah.
Because this took me almost 9 years, and this was one of the things that started the Dream Big column, was my journey to become a published author and model and actress.
Right.
But I mean, this was the big one that started. This started like even maybe about the same time I started modeling, but I had been writing and been trying to get published way before Dream Big column was born.
Sure.
But it was just thrown in there as an added bonus. So I'm like, hey, is there any way that you guys would be interested in doing this? And it was like,
everybody raised their hand, right?
We're gonna do this.
We'll do this.
So I could not do that without my family here.
Right.
And I wanted to give them all a shout out.
Please, everybody.
And I just, why did I lose that? I had that.
How long did you spend looking for that before we started?
A while. Oh my
and
goodness.
Now we're looking
and then
for it
I
again.
opened up a phone and it's gone. But I forgot my notebook, my trusty notebook. It was so
notebook
awesome.
That has everything in it.
Yes, because there's so many wonderful people, and I don't want to miss anyone.
We'll listen. We go on until question mark, so you can. We'll let you finish. We'll let you find it. Don't worry. No worries here. Go ahead.
Good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just so wonderful, and then I was getting so many wonderful ideas from them. I mean, I got the idea to do a raffle from them, and this raffle is going to be epic because, again, I have wonderful sponsors that have donated some really awesome prizes.
Right.
And not just the sponsors. I mean, I have our guests and guest performers that are donating some stuff for the raffle too.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And it's going to be pretty nifty because with everybody, just coming in and bringing the community in. And that's what Dream Big was about for me. It was bringing that community together of creatives and sharing everything about them and what they're doing and how they're making their dreams come true.
Right.
And it was very important to me. And aside from that, I mean, they were my inspiration. I wanted to quit so many times. I even wanted to quit Dream Big. Right. Because I felt like it wasn't getting out there to, everybody. And I felt like, well, this is really great. Why aren't people watching this? There's so many wonderful people on here sharing their stories with us. And it just really hurt me that no one was really sharing it the way I kind of thought that they might, And so finally, I'm just like, hey, we're just going to do it. And if people watch, they watch. And if they don't, they don't. But
that's the way to go.
I'm going to promote them as much as I possibly can. And I'm going to make sure that, hey, I'm there for them. Right. And so they've in turn come out and been so supportive of me, and it's just been wonderful. And I have this long list of wonderful people that
she has it. I promise.
I have
She's got it. Here it is.
I got it. All right. So my sponsors, I'm going to name first because I didn't get to list them last night whenever I was on Channel 6. The Mystic Orb, the Black Cat, the other one, Oneida Zombie Fest, the Hemp Alternative, Jefferson Barbershop, Mythical Markings Tattoo Studio, Jessica Clare and Jewelry, Matthew Atchley, August Aguilera, Outlander Media Network, Taylor Shea Photography, Sheer Vibe Salon, Nature's Crossing Health and Beauty, and of course the Open Chord for allowing us to be there. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And we couldn't be sitting there twiddling our thumbs if it weren't for Chris Bell, Brady von Beaverhausen, Ivy Aphrodite, Raven Von Rowe, Lance Adams, Michael Bates, Rose Hawley, New Rosies, Doug McCullen, Doug the Juggler,
just in case
Danny
you were wondering.
Whitson, Gage and Ashley Sharp, the Handsome Night Lobsters, and the Knox by Night Band. I mean, I could not be doing this without you guys. You guys are such an inspiration to me, and you guys are awesome. And thank you so much for like throwing down this party with me and sharing this epic adventure with me too. I couldn't do it without
Absolutely.
them. And some other shout outs that I must do.
Did it. Mm-hmm.
From the Mystic Orb, Ashley Burt created the Amulet of Elements for me.
Really?
I described it to her, and so she said that she could do it. She could make it. I just needed to find my Rainbow Moonstone.
Right.
And so I went to Earth's core and found the Rainbow Moonstone and took it back to her, and she just intricately woven this wonderful gold in around this amulet.
Really?
And then I found a chain for it that was as close to it as I could.
Yeah.
And I took pictures of it, and Randy Humphrey, who did our book party flyers, he the artwork was so amazing that my publisher loved it so much and thought that this would be great for the book cover. So I did one up, and I went ahead and asked Randy, hey, would you do
this?
the honor
Yes.
to do the book cover? I want to show the publisher.
Right.
Can we go ahead and do a mock-up, do a cover mock-up? And so he did it. They loved it, and everybody went back and forth tweaking some things, and voila, the book cover was born.
And that's what's on the cover now.
He did the front and back cover.
Wow.
Art, yes. And it's just so beautiful. I mean, you want to go there. Like, whenever I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh.
It is.
I want to go into that world and step in. And it was amazing that I took the actual amulet and just took pictures of it.
Right.
And he put it in the artwork.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yes.
And it is beautiful. Cause if you go to Amazon, you look up the Amulet of Elements on there, you'll see the cover. It is gorgeous. It is such a gorgeous picture that he's put. And it's just a gorgeous scene that he's put together. It really is great.
Yes, he's so talented. He so talented.
Did an amazing job.
So talented. And right now we're working on a little surprise.
Oh, surprise!
For my publisher, yes.
Oh.
So I was telling about that last night on their podcast, the Star Chamber Show, and I'm like, I'm not telling you what it is, but just like
it's gonna see a
yes,
secret.
I can't wait. So we're in the process of doing that. So hopefully in the next day or two, we'll have that.
going
ready.
too.
Yes,
all right.
I'm really excited.
So now will you release it to the world before the book release party, or
well, I'm
on
hoping
that
before
night?
the book actually comes out.
Oh, even more. Okay.
Yes.
So within the next couple of days.
Yes,
Okay.
literally. And so then, of course, we have the book coming out on the 27th, and then we have the party on September 3rd at 6 p.m. at the open court.
At the open court.
And we're going until they throw us out.
Yeah, good. I like that. I like that idea. That works.
Of course, there's going to be the raffle drawing in between each guest, and Chris Bell is my host, and he's going to be throwing prizes, and we're taking tickets, and it's going to be
It's going to be a fun night.
And of course, the open court's already equipped with lots of alcohol.
Yes.
Great food.
No shortage.
And the entertainment is going to be top notch.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't ask for anything else.
There's
going to be a
night.
juggler, a magician. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 musical acts.
Wow.
I think.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's stand-up comedians.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And burlesque dancers.
Of course, yes.
And this party's 18 and up, folks.
Yeah, sorry.
Because I don't want to censor anyone. The
No.
book is for adults. So it's going to be a fun-filled night. Leave your kids at home.
Please.
Get a sitter.
Get a sitter.
Enjoy a night out.
Yes.
Like, bring a date. Bring friends. It's free.
But be there.
It's free.
It's
to
free.
Go.
So, yeah.
The only thing that you're taking care of, like if you want to participate in the raffle, is the tickets. Now, one ticket is $1.
Simple.
So if you want more tickets, an arm length is $5.
Just $5 for that many.
2 arm lengths,
$10.
Table length, which they're providing me with a 6-foot table, I think.
Seriously?
I think they're providing me a 6-foot table.
Yeah.
So it's going to be $15 for that many tickets.
Whoa.
And then we really get up there, and when you stand up, you get measured your tickets, $20, however tall you are. So if somebody comes in, they're like 6'4", 6'8", you guys are rolling in tickets.
You're gonna be rolling in
$20.
tickets.
But the prizes,
Holy cow.
mean, just think about who the sponsors are.
Yeah.
Then think about, what would they be providing?
I can only imagine.
And then, of course, I'm going to have some stuff that I'm going to be throwing in. There's going to be some Dream Big merch. There might be some book stuff, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I have 2 very special items that will be the final drawing for the raffle. Is going to be after our main band, the New Rosies. They're going to be our final act.
Wow.
And I'm trying to see who all might want to do something special at the very end of the night after the raffle. So maybe if I can, talk everybody into like nuts.
Yeah, let's do something
here.
Really
fun that will just really
yes
at the end of the show.
Cherry on top, beautiful evening. The capper on the beautiful evening.
I want everybody to come out of there just feeling just fully entertained. And the energy is awesome in the open chord as it is. So just imagine all of us creatives performing and doing our thing, and how much that crazy energy is going to be.
It's going to be a crazy.
And dress up. Please feel free to dress up. I mean, I'm dressing up. it's my book release.
It's her deal. She's going to dress up.
I'm not saying prom.
Right.
But I'm saying, hey, look, you're going to a nice, not super formal. It's like business casual.
Yeah,
but, something nice that you're going to go out on the town with.
Exactly.
And looking your, dressed to the nine.
Right.
Whatever you want. So feel free to dress up.
Dress up
I
nice.
had so close to making it a costume party, and
should
I
have.
did.
Oh,
I was so close to saying,
oh my God.
all right, everybody dress up like Vikings or from the Viking age, or,
Yes, you should have.
Everybody way back medieval.
Please, show up in knights uniforms.
Right?
You should do it.
So, and
you should do it.
Maybe that's another party for another time.
Right.
After the book comes out, but maybe I can get... maybe we can do a themed temple thing and get them talked into some themed, cool, awesome temple thing.
Right.
And everybody dress up for that.
Everybody dress up. Get to it, folks. It's going to be
a silly idea.
It's going to be I love it. It's not
Jay.
a silly. Yeah.
If you're watching.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
You heard her.
I've got all these ideas.
I want to see medieval people at this party. It just needs to happen.
It's an indoor Renaissance fair. We
sweat. That's right. Huzzah.
And there'll be alcohol.
And there's going to be alcohol. So there will be some sweating later. But it's,
so hey, let's make this happen, Knoxville.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
We'll wait till all the con season's over.
That's right.
All the con season can be over.
That can be done.
And then we'll do something super fun before we have to stuff our bodies with turkeys or something like that.
Turkeys and hams
something around that time.
Spend all our money on stuff.
Yes, before we hit the roaring 20s again.
That's right.
Yes,
we're almost there again.
20s again. Yes.
God, that's crazy. I didn't put I didn't piece that together. Yes. We're almost to the 20s again.
I'm so going to be ready for that.
You are going to be ready. We all are going to be ready. The fedoras need to come back. Suits need to come back in a big way.
Let's get our suits out.
Suits need to be back.
Our shaky flapper dresses.
That's right.
Yes, all those tassels.
That is right.
Yes. But I won't be doing what they did traditionally in the 20s, like where anybody that was big busted, that was considered unattractive.
Yeah.
And they had to, bandage their breasts down. That's not happening.
Come on, we're in.
Yeah,
these are the 2020s, not the 1920s.
That's
right.
This
is a different era, folks. Completely different.
We still got off topic.
I know, but I love it, and it's true. Everything we're saying is true.
Yes.
It's
we start talking about parties.
That's right. And we're talking about 20s parties.
Yes.
And we're talking 2020s parties.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. Well, let me make sure we hit everything here. I think we did. Yeah. So the book release party is on September 3rd, 6 p.m. It starts.
Yes.
The Amulet of Elements will be available on for download and on all kinds of different sites. Amazon, you can find it there. It'll be available on August 27th. And for more info, where was the page again that they can go to?
Well, my author page on Facebook.
The author page on Facebook, that's right.
My website, RosemaryMachario.com.
That's right.
7starpress.com.
That was the one.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all those things,
That's
you
right.
can go over there. And one thing I would like to add.
Go ahead.
You have a 5 days window for your pre-orders.
Yes.
If you do your pre-orders and you send me show me your pre-order, I will put you in the hat for each. Your name will go into each drawing for the prizes, and you get to skip the ticket line.
Boom.
So you just gotta show me your pre-orders. If you're in around the Knoxville area, you have to show up at the party though. You have to be there in order to win the prize.
That's very important.
Drawn,
You're gonna have to be
or
there.
We're skipping you, and it's gonna be a ticket person that is gonna get drawn.
Get there, be there, do this, and be there. That's all we're asking.
Yes.
But yeah, so get your pre-orders on
and show me your pre-orders,
and you'll be in.
You just private message me. You can, send it by a messenger or just anything.
See,
anyway, just show me the pre-orders, and you will put in the hat for all of the prizes.
That's
like
right.
Each time that Chris goes up on that stage and he's got the new set of tickets to be drawing out of, your name's gonna get dropped right into that little bucket.
Done, just like that. See, I didn't even know
Double
that. So
your chances.
I need to get pre-order because I'm gonna pre-order, but I didn't realize that there was more of an incentive to that. So I'm gonna pre-order earlier than I thought too. So that's
you got to do it before the 27th.
Before the 27th. That's right. That's right. And then, like we said, the open court on Kingston Pike here in Knoxville, Tennessee. That is where the book release party will be for the Amulet of Elements, which will be out on August 27th.
Yay, the day before my birthday.
The day before her birthday.
For my birthday, guys. Pre-order those
the
books. And then, of course, I have books at the signing.
Yes.
I will have print copies at the signing. So I'll have a nice little book package for people.
I love this.
Yes.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, and it'll be, I talk about it, and I've been on so many different interviews talking about the book, and I'm like, I can't wait until my author copy comes in the mail, just so I can,
that's
copy.
Right. That's when it's really going to hit you, when you get that copy in the mail.
And I really thought about going live on Facebook.
You should.
To opening it and to sharing it with all of you, whatever kind of reaction I'm going to have, because I have no idea. I've thought about, am I going to cry? Am I going to jump up and down? Am I going to do the Snoopy dance?
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do? Am I going to pass out on the floor and then you're just going to watch me sleep for a while?
Do the Snoopy dance and then pass out.
Right.
Do
and
both.
Cry and laugh and do Snoopy dance and
That's
scream.
what you need to do. That's what needs to be done.
And then maybe open a bottle of something.
Yeah,
open
sure.
A bottle of wine
Yeah.
And say,
Oh my goodness. Do all of that and more if possible.
Yes. And I'll probably still, even on the 27th, whenever it's out into the world for reals.
Yeah.
And people can get it in any which shape or form that they want to have it. And it's going to be still, I'm going to be popping that cork on something.
You're going to be doing it. It's still going to be happening one way or the other. It's going to happen.
Lots of wine filling the cups. Or I might get mead or ale or something very traditional. Yes, but they did drink a lot of wine,
A lot of wine.
Yes.
Some grog. If that's, get some. Now, before we go, I do want to ask, though, because we discussed this a little bit when you were
getting excited and scooting my chair.
We're all scooting back. We're all scooting back. Let's get close. We discussed this a little bit the last time we talked on the regular show. Is Dream Big coming back? Will there be another season? Will there be season 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Next year.
Okay.
Yes. There was just so much going on, and after 4 came out, it was delayed. There were so many hiccups with 4, and we had lost our sound guy, so the sound quality wasn't as epic as with Taylor doing it. But Jessica did a phenomenal job. And she got it out there, and so I couldn't have done it without her.
Right.
And I'm hoping that once everything's kind of settled,
the dust is settled, yes.
and the book is out, and I'm not like, oh my gosh, like do
Right.
it, like ah! As soon as that's
once we've calmed down,
then I will start cyber stalking people to be guests. I already have like a good mental guest list of who hasn't been on the show I want to be on the show. And I'm like, yep. And I've already asked a few people, hey, do you want to be on for season 5?
Right.
And so I want to give it a makeover again, because that's what I do with Dream Big. Mm-hmm. Every season is something a little bit different.
Sure.
So I'm going to be on there, and I'm going to be sharing one of my dreams that have come true to inspire everybody else. I'll have my book with me.
So you are the true inspiration. What the show is about.
Yes. And I've hoped to inspire others that, hey, no matter what,
it's going to happen. Yeah.
If you stick with it and you work hard and you believe in it hard enough and you love it so much that you can't see doing anything else with whatever creative venture that you are on, don't give up. Don't give up. It was almost 9 years for me to get published, and look where I'm sitting here talking about my book coming out. So don't give up, and don't let any of the naysayers say anything to you. Don't let that little voice in your head get to you. I don't know how many times I wanted to quit. All the things. I mean, all of it. Like, everything. I got disappointed because my book wasn't getting published. I got disappointed because no one wanted to pay me to be a model. And then nobody really wanted to work with me either. Right. And I'm like, well, whatever. So like, no traveling and modeling for me.
Right.
And then acting's done pretty good. I've kind of not been as proactive and looking and hunting and searching for things, but I love my agent.
Sure.
Thank you, Winnell. Love you guys. Thank you, Talent Track.
Keep this girl going. That's right.
And so, and then of course, the book is coming out.
Right.
And there are things that is happening for me that is something that I wrote about, wishing would happen.
Exactly.
And all the times I, wanted to cry.
Right.
And say whatever and no more, and throw in my towel, but I didn't. I believed in it strongly enough to where no matter what anybody said. And most authors, they say that if your first book hasn't sold or gotten picked up by whoever would be picking it up, that you need to move on and write something else. Now, I did take that advice, and I did write 2 novellas that are completely different from anything, and I'm hoping that those will see the light of day.
See, there you go.
And but it was something that I challenged myself with.
Sure.
But I still couldn't get my story out of my head.
Right.
I couldn't get that away at all.
And if it's a good story, which it is, I mean, you don't want to give it up. There's no reason to give it up. So,
I mean, I feel like it was meant to be out there. I felt that the universe has been just shining on it with lots and lots of blessings of the people that have worked so hard to make this happen.
Right.
Stephen and Holly, 7 Star Press, Ashley Burt helping me to make this amulet real. And it's for real. I'll have to show it.
It's
real. I'll have to really show it to you.
You gotta show it to us. Yeah.
And then the concept art. Les Murphy did the concept art for me. We're trying to figure out how we're going to put the amulet on a cover, and so finally, being that we're in the digital age, pictures had to be done. Pictures. The amulet had the model.
It was
for this cover.
It was there, right? Just had to make it work.
Yes, but I still post it in the still shape that we had it for the concept art.
Right.
And then Randy Humphrey for creating this beautiful artwork on the cover. Everybody just worked so hard, and then everybody that's pitched in to do the book release party, guests and sponsors and all the performers and just everybody that's been connected, everybody that's been sharing. Thank you so much for sharing the link to the book to pre-order. Thank you so much for sharing the news and all the things that I've been on lately in the last couple weeks. Thank you so much for sharing this. I mean, my dream is coming to fruition, and it's been just amazing.
It doesn't seem real, does it?
No.
Yeah.
I have to slap myself sometimes. It's like, is this really happening?
Right.
Am I just dreaming it like I did the entire book?
Right,
I just dreamt the book.
I dreamt the whole thing, I mean, it could be. You don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just been wonderful. It's been a wonderful journey. And even though it was hard, and even though it was stressful, and I cried a lot, and I couldn't sleep at night, and I was depressed, and I, made my family miserable because I was depressed, and my kids were like, "What's wrong with Mommy?" And because Mommy's book's not getting published. and through all that, in the end, it has been so worth it.
Absolutely.
Because I feel at home with Seventh Star Press and Stephen Hollier family, and they have welcomed me into the family, and I've finally gotten to meet some of my book author brothers and sisters.
Nice.
With the Seventh Star Press family,
right.
And they are incredible. They are so incredible. And I can't wait to meet more of them at Imaginarium, October 11th through the 13th.
Remember
in
that.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
Yes.
It's not that far. Go.
Yes.
You need to check it out.
Yes.
after Bubba Fest. We'll go do that this weekend.
And I will be at the Marble City Con at the Sevierville Convention Center November 16th and 17th.
I believe so, yeah.
And I'm a guest. I'm actually a guest.
You're a guest there.
Yes.
That's an amazing thing.
And then we're doing something extra, something super cool that they've not released yet.
We don't even know yet. Huh?
Yeah. And so I'm really excited about that.
It just keeps getting wider and wider. This whole thing. This is incredible. This is incredible. So I told you at the beginning of the show that she does amazing things, and she continues to do amazing things. And this book is a perfect example of that, and it will be out on August 27th for you to buy. The book release party on September 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Open Chord here in Knoxville on Kingston Pike. Rosemary Machario, thank you for being on the show once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Letting me be on here.
I love it when you're here.
Gush.
I love it when you're here.
I'm gushing about my book, baby.
I love it. You should gush. Come back and gush anytime.
Yay,
that's what I love about this show, because we can gush.
Well, this time next year, book 2 will be out. So I'm not leaving anybody any cliffhangers.
No.
I mean, there's going to be a series. And so you get hooked on book 1. Please know that there is going to be sequels coming.
2 is coming.
I won't leave you hanging.
That's right.
Although you will be left hanging.
Well,
but you have to wait a
until
year.
the next one comes out. That's it. Then it'll be out. Then you'll be fine.
It'll be worth it. It'll be good.
Well, thank you again for coming by. It's been Rosemary Machario on the Smokin' Hot Toddcast. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.